Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going on a morning walk and figured I'd take you all with me this Saturday morning. It's 8 o'clock a.m. here in Jacksonville, 8:12. Let me go into my other platforms to make sure people know we here. Y'all hold on. Let's see if I can raise some people, raise some people up. Y'all hold on. Good morning. Good morning. Y'all come on in. Come on in. As they say, y'all come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Good morning. We're going to talk a little bit about how do we spend our weekends as a trader. How do you spend your weekend when you're a trader? TRADER, not a trade tour. Not a TRATOR, but a TRADER. Good morning, Ward. Good morning, Julie. How do we spend our weekends as a trader? DER. When you're a trader, how do we spend our weekends? I think I might go that way, and then when I come back, I will walk around the lake a little bit. How about do that? The fountains aren't on this morning. We usually, I guess, our CDD management people have to come and turn them on. So maybe that's why they're not on yet. I don't know why they just don't run all the time, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to enjoy the ambiance of this semi-quiet Saturday morning out here in the neighborhood, going for me a morning stroll. Hope y'all good this morning. Hey, Melissa, how we doing this morning? Y'all probably laying in bed and scrolling. I woke up early this morning, and I woke up early thinking about hmm, news streaming. Oh, I didn't mean. Well, anyway, I woke up early this morning thinking about the fact that I have, we're coming up on the end of the semester. Y'all know I'm a college professor at the university. I teach pre-calculus and college algebra, and I want to make sure that I've taught the pre-calc kids all that stuff that they need. So I woke up thinking about that this morning, along with some other stuff that's going on at church. So I woke up early and my mind was on. Then I was like, I need to go ahead and hop on up and start moving around, putting my eyes on what I need to put my eyes on, so I could make sure I could solidify it. So when I go next week, I'm ready. Because finals is next week. So this week, where it's our last week before finals, is next week. So the temperature here is probably in the 80s, maybe probably 80s. I've got on shorts and a short sleeve shirt, and I'm very comfortable. See, I've got on a short sleeve shirt, and it's very comfortable, nice and sunshiny here. Julie said I'm spending the in bed recovering from COVID vaccine booster. Oh no, getting geared up to go to China next month. Oh, you're going to China? What part of China are you going to, Julie? You know I used to live in China, right? I'm not sure you knew that. Tell me what part of China you're going to. I used to live there. Um, and it was good for the time. When it was time to go, it was time to go. But it was good there. Um, Melissa says I have four-legged alarm clocks. Yeah, I never wanted those. I thought about it a couple times, but I decided I didn't want the four-legged alarm clocks, even though I've gone into the pet store. There's as soon as I walk into our mall, in the mall, I just discovered a threading place where they thread your eyebrows and thread all the things instead of waxing. You can do threading, and I'd rather do threading. And I discovered that. But when you walk in that entrance, you pass by the puppy place, and there's they have this dog that is, well, this breed of dogs. It's the Australian Shepherd mixed with the poodle. I think they call them the Australian Doodle or the Aussie Doodle. Oh, they are so cute. Because first of all, when I do get a dog, which is gonna be a while, but I do want the tall poodle. The standard poodle is what I want. And poodles and doodles are kind of what I rely on. But the Australian Shepherd is another dog. My husband loves Australian Shepherds. So he wants an Australian Shepherd, and I would want a standard poodle. So the perfect combination would be to just buy one dog that would be an Australian Doodle, and we'd be done with dog buying. We wouldn't need two. Of course, I know the whole story about don't get the dog from the puppy mill at the mall. I get that, but I didn't even know there was a Aussie Doodle breed to get. So, um, yeah, that's the thing. Uh, Julie said, I did know. I wanted to ask you about trading there. We're going to Beijing, Xi'an, Chengdu, Shanghai, and Hong Kong. Yeah, you can trade there. I mean, as long as your internet works, you should be able to trade there with no problem. I'll make sure you have a VPN. Julie, make sure your VPN is running. I used ExpressVPN while I lived there. Load it on your computer while you're here. Load ExpressVPN. That way you can use YouTube, you can use Facebook, and make sure you've got your ExpressVPN or whatever VPN. I like ExpressVPN. Other people have others, but ExpressVPN I found to be very consistent. And I used that the whole time I lived there. And it allowed me to do everything I was doing in America. I could still get to all my same sites. And I put ExpressVPN on my phone. I also put it on my devices so that I could do all the things I needed to do. You're going to have a fun time. I guess you're going with a travel group because for all those places, you probably need to be with a group of people um, that are going to take you, you know, don't talk later, but don't let them take you to just the the normal touristy shopping places. Try to get off the beaten path yourself. And a lot of those countries and cities and states of China, there are people who speak English, so you can drift away from the main trap because hold on, what they do is they take you to their places. And of course, the prices are, you know, a little upcharge. They take you to their little spots to shop and all those good things so that they take you where they want you to go and think you got to shop there. But you don't have to. You can shop other places. You can always, or you'll be very safe in China. Don't have to ever feel like you're not safe. You can walk all around in China. China is very serious about making sure that their tourists are safe. Okay, that wasn't what we can't talk about, but we can talk more about that, Julie, while we're at some other time if you want. I wanted to talk about though, did want to talk about this morning. What do you do on the weekend as a trader? Yesterday the market was closed. What did y'all do? Tell me in the comments what you did while the market was closed yesterday. Julie says it's a culinary group. I'm excited to eat. We went to India together a few years ago. Oh, that'll be wonderful. China has some good food. The dumplings. Oh my goodness, that's the one thing I truly miss from China is the dumplings, and the cauliflower and all the food that is so fresh. Ooh, yes, yes, yes. I do miss that. Family and friends with a tour group. That'll be amazing. Um, what did you do yesterday while the market was closed? What did y'all do? I got up in the morning. I decided. I checked my little LA Fitness. I joined LA Fitness a little while ago. I actually have, through my insurance, I joined what's called One Pass. I'm not sure I had it healthcare and could pay for One Pass. One Pass allows me to go to virtually any gym I want to go to and join. I pay United Healthcare one price, which is like $35 or something like that. And I can go $35 a month, by the way. And I can go to any gym I want and avail myself of their services. So I've chosen LA Fitness, but I could go to Planet Fitness. I can go to Workout Anytime Fitness, almost all of them. Crunch Fitness. I use LA Fitness because it has the most services all at one place. So I go there and I was looking at the schedule to see what classes did they have. A lot of times the classes are in the morning, and in the morning I'm usually trading. So I don't be trying to do no class on my day off during the trading time. So yesterday they did have a bodyworks class though, and I chose to go. And child, the bodyworks class was all full up of people. Whew. I realized some things though while I was there. First of all, that health is wealth. There was people of varying ages and of varying abilities, but there were some older ladies there who was getting it in. And I was like, you know what? I'm trying to be like these ladies who are in their 70s and 80s who in here in here doing all these ups and downs and lifting and pushing up and just doing their thing and still doing a good job of it, just really doing taking good care of their bodies. That was one thing that really hit me. So I enjoyed the workout. And the sister who was teaching it was really good. So I talked to her a little after and we made a connect. That was good. So that's what I did yesterday morning. And then I went, did a little bit of grocery shopping, got me a smoothie, did some grocery shopping, and then had dinner with my husband, had a little early dinner, and then went for a walk. I told him we still had daylight. So on the way home, we could stop by the park and we walked around the park area. It has a nice little walking trail. So we walked the park a couple times, which was a mile. After the mile, he basically turned off. He didn't even say nothing. He just started turning to the right. I said, "Where you going?" He was like, "I'm going back to the car." I was like, I was ready to go anyway too, but I wasn't gonna say that because if he was gonna walk some more, I was gonna walk some more too. But we walked a mile and then we came on home and we watched the movie, The Amateur. Not sure if you all seen that movie or are going to the movies to see that movie. I saw it on my Fire Stick and it was really good. So I watched the movie, The Amateur. But overall, so I did a few things yesterday. Oh, I also worked within our trading group a little bit yesterday to give a little bit of direction because we had several people in our group took a loss on Thursday. We'll talk about that in a minute, but we took a loss on Thursday. So we made I did a little bit of, assessing what happened, writing in our trading journals as to update what we will do different in the future and how we will move forward, how we will move going forward, right? But I got outside yesterday into the sunshine. Got to get into the sunshine. Oh yeah, flying to China is at least 16 hours, depending on where you're flying from. But you went out into the sunshine. Um, I did went to the sunshine. I did something physical. So I got my blood moving. I got some vitamin D, got my blood moving, which also helps the brain power. When we get into some physical activity, it helps our brain work better, our bodies work better. All right. Spent some time with loved ones. That's another thing that helps our mental well-being. Always important, especially we have to remember when there's times if we've taken a loss or we've lost a little bit of money along the way, it helps to come back to the things that are important. And the things that are important is our family and our relationships, right? Money will come and go. It will be regenerated. It's called currency. It will regenerate. So we want to um, definitely uh, know that we can generate more cash and resources. Family's gonna be there 12 hours, 616. Actually, it's 24 hours door to door. When I would fly back and forth to China from Florida, we'd have to fly to California. Well, somewhere in the States. I usually would fly to California and then from California, fly across the water. I call it cross the water because that's really what it was, which is another 12 at least into Shanghai, and then from Shanghai back to where I live, which was Ningbo, would be another 2 or 3 hours if we drove by car, and or another flight if we flew. So it's gonna take you about 24 hours door to door to get for me it was door to door about 24 hours. Um, so you're gonna want to keep the main thing, which is family. Is important. Family is your priority. Even if you won or lost money, we still need to keep to know that our family is going to be with us, right? We can generate more cash and more resources. So don't let the, you know, the loss or whatever affect us so much so that we miss out on family time. This Easter weekend is one of the times that people really do seem to come back together and spend time with family, um, which is good. I think if whatever, times we use to come back and gather together for whatever the reasons are. People have different reasons why this weekend is why they get together, but whatever the reason, definitely let it bring you back together and continue to foster those relationships, right? Because it won't be long before they're gone. I put a post the other day in Facebook and I said, Does anybody know the phone number to heaven? Because I need to call. I want to call my mama. I want to call and talk to my mama. Now I'm gonna tell you, when my mother and I did not have a great relationship. It was strained for a lot of the years. My relationship with my mother was very strained. It did get better, and we did, mend a lot of fences. But there was time that was wasted. For all intents and purposes, there was time that was wasted in our relationship, for all the reasons. Some of them people would feel like I would feel, and she would feel like good reasons, but the time was still wasted apart and wasted not talking to one another. And then when it's all said and done, it's time you can't get back. Right? It's time you can't get back. And sometimes you can feel like, well, this is what they did to me. And I did. Yeah, yeah, this is all true. And you may be justified in how you're feeling, but our time is short. So just keep that in mind as you're working through that. Keep in mind that the time is short. All right. That time is short, and you want to maximize your time as best you can. Nobody can tell you how to do that. But sometimes we have to decide we're going to let bygones be bygones and let it be bygone. Okay. Just let it be gone. Okay. Okay. Just let it be gone. Just let the bygone be gone. All righty. All right. So you do want to spend your weekends, though, with some trading related activity, though, because we're traders. So you do want to take some time to beef up your trading stuff. You may not want to spend the entire weekend doing that, because we spend enough time during the week in front of our screens. I would call Friday, I won't call it a fluke, but I will call it something that happens, every now and then. Friday was OPEX day, which we had some options expirations. That's what OPEX stand for. You had different things that were expiring. So because it was the third Friday of the month, which third Thursday in this case, because Friday was the holiday, but several things were expiring all at once. So that in itself brings a lot of volatility, especially at the end of the day, right? We're option sellers, and our strategy generally has us holding things to expiration. And we had trades that were fine the majority of the day. At the end of the day, those trades started to have a problem. So what we should write in our trading journals is on OPEX days, on the days, the third Friday of every month. Those are days that we need to do enter our trades and do PDT hacks, make sure we lock them down, or we literally don't enter the trade till the last minute and get right back out. Or we decide we're just going to watch on OPEX days, because watching is a strategy. Y'all know me. I'll say that in a minute. Watching is a strategy, especially if we don't make good money all week, which I had. I had a really good week going. My first 3 days of the week, I had made, I want to say, about $4,000 in 3 days. And then I had Thursday and lost 1,300. So my week went down to 23 or 27, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it's something like that. It was over 2,000. But if I had stopped after Wednesday and not even traded on Thursday, I would have been, which I could have done that because Thursday I was teaching anyway. I could have not even traded Thursday and still would have had good profits for the week, right? Even though our strategy allows us to trade every day, doesn't mean we have to trade every day. Arlissa, talking to me, not just talking to y'all, talking to me too. We don't have to trade every day. Oh. So some days you can just watch. You can decide on OPEX day, I'm either going to PDT hack it, or I'm not going to trade at all, right? Put that in your trading journals to say these are the days. Okay, the system we use still is trustworthy. I'm not tossing out our system, because I believe our system is quite trustworthy. It's just we have to keep in mind that there are external factors. There's external factors that work against us too. And OPEX, a lot happens at the end of the day when people are resetting their positions. So we have to keep that in mind. All right. So on the weekends, we getting ourselves into the sunshine. We're spending some time with our families. If you're one that does some kind of worship service, which hopefully you are, because we do not exist in and of ourselves, I sure hope those who are riding with me really understand that I know who my Savior is, and I have no shame about letting anybody else know who I know who my Savior is, and I have no problem sharing that. So and I believe people of like minds kind of are drawn together. So there's been some type of time in some type of worship service. Now I love the fact that with COVID, worship services have now gotten us where we can do online worship services now. But I have to say, I was one who was super spoiled after during COVID because I could go from church service to church service to church service to church, and I didn't have to leave my living room. I could be, all over the world having church and didn't even have to leave home. Um, but then the Lord started to deal with me to say, the Bible talks about forsake not the assembling of yourselves, which is you need to come together. You means you need to go to the house, right? You need to go to the house to worship. Second of all, if I'm at home, then there's something about work. There's two things. Something about worshiping in person that is different than worshiping in your living room. Okay, we all know this. There's just, even if you're standing in front of the TV with your hands raised and singing along, it still is different than when you're in the house with the whole atmosphere of the place. It's just gonna feel different. Second thing though is when I'm at home, um, I'm not bringing my gifts to the house. All right. When I'm at home, I'm getting ministered to. So I'm receiving, but when I don't go to a worship service, I'm not taking my gifts. So the things that the house needs from me, it doesn't get. So that's a very selfish way to worship. Now, when we didn't have a choice, we didn't have a choice, right? So if your job or something doesn't allow for you to go to an in-person service, that's one thing. If you can't go, if your health doesn't allow it, your job doesn't allow it, your situation doesn't allow it, that's one thing. But if you can, and you know whether you can or not, it's a can or a want, because some of us don't want to. And I, for a long time, did not want to. I'm going to be honest. As they say, TBH, I didn't want to, but I could. So if you can, though, you should go into the house so that way you can be bringing your gift to the house as well, because the house needs you too. I see Ward says, I attend online services too. True. But if you're able, Ward, you're able, you should go into the service as well so you can take your gifts into the house, even if it's nothing more than your presence. Because even though I was online, I always sent my tithes, I always sent my offerings, I sent my money to the places that I was being ministered to from, but I was not present. So the Lord began to deal with me about that, to say, that I need your gifts. I've given you gifts, Arlissa, and those gifts are needed in the house as well. So not just can you stay at home and receive, but what can you give back to the body? So we started going back to church. We started going back into physical service. Then you get there and you see there are some needs. Not only am I getting ministered to still because I'm present and I'm in the service, but you start seeing areas where you can be of service, which I became an usher. Ushering is not something that I ever had done in the past. I'm a singer, so I would sing, but at my church, they got 4 and 5, 6 services every weekend, and your girl isn't for that at this point. The Lord hadn't spoke to me to go back to that. I used to sing at church before, and I know the level of dedication and stuff that requires, and that's not in this season. That's not what the Lord has called me to. But ushering, my husband actually signed up to usher, and then I was like, well, if he's gonna usher, I'll just usher with him. Next thing you know, I found out I was ushering and he'd be somewhere sitting. I'm like, well, this is not the way that was supposed to go. But I enjoy ushering. So that's my service at this point. My service is ushering and I'm a giver. So those are the two things that the Lord has called me to do in this season is to usher, which is, here, come. Come, it's me. This is me ushering. I'm holding up my hand, letting the people know that I'm here, and then I hold my hand out to let them know this is their seat. That's how I do. That's my ushering. And I tell the people who are here on the end, I touch their arm to let them know they need to move and let people get in. Because folks get into a seat and they get right on the end. Like there's people got to get in there. Anyway, people are very gracious, but that's what I do is I usher. Because the service needs me too, needs me to come and offer my service to the body of Christ, not just be at home receiving. Y'all got my point? Okay. I think I've touched on that enough. So that's why we go to the worship service so that way we can be of service as well, not just be at home receiving. Okay? So those are the things. On the weekend, we're going to do some stuff with our family. If we got family, friends, everybody's got friends. Hopefully, we got a friend or two, acquaintances, significant others. We do stuff with those people. Okay, we hang out with them, spend some time with those we love, doing something, operate in service to the world. All right. We do spend some time doing some studying and doing some things with our trading because we do need to use the weekends to prepare ourselves. Don't get engulfed in that for the weekend because then when it comes the week time, you over extended yourself in those screens. All right, take some time away from our computer screen for trading and maybe watch a movie like I did. I watched The Amateur. I enjoyed that movie. It was a good movie. I'm thinking about watching Sinners. I'm kind of thinking about it, kind of not. My husband said it includes vampires, and I don't really do those kind of movies. I don't really do movies that include like vampires and ghosts and demons and all that. I don't really do those kind of movies. So I'm thinking about that one. I'm not really sure that that's what I want to do. So I'll see. We'll see how I feel about that later. I think I might watch Mufasa though. I might watch Mufasa. That might be good. I might watch that. And then tomorrow you're gonna spend Easter. You got resurrection service. If your church is like mine, my church has 9 services. They started last night. They had service last night. We've got 2 today. I'm actually going today at 4. And then they'll have like 4 or 5 services tomorrow. I won't be going tomorrow. My son already asked. My son actually sent a message asking for Sunday breakfast. We usually go to breakfast on Sundays as a family. And I was like, we're not going to a restaurant on Sunday because it's going to be pickety packed at the restaurants on Sunday. He was like, well, you could always cook at home. And then he had the nerve to send a list of all the stuff he wanted to have for breakfast. And it's a long list. He was like, shrimp and grits and fish and sausage and pancakes and eggs. I was like, you just got a whole buffet. This isn't the restaurant, really. You act like it's the restaurant. So anyway, that's why I was grocery shopping yesterday because I didn't have all that stuff. So actually, I'm gonna try out me a shrimp and grits recipe. I've never really made shrimp and grits, but I'm gonna try it out tomorrow. See if I can make shrimp and grits. Anybody, y'all, if y'all got a good shrimp and grits recipe, somebody send it to me so I can try it out. Okay. But this morning when I got up, I said I need to go for me a walk because after I did that Body Works, yeah, my son should tip me. After I did that Body Works exercise yesterday, my hamstrings are a little. Is the hamstrings the back of your thighs? Aren't those called hamstrings? Yeah, my hamstrings are a little tight. So I was getting ready to sit down and grade papers because I got to grade test papers from Thursday. That's why I was able to talk back and forth with y'all on Thursday morning in the chat, the members, my membership, because I was given a test, my pre-calculus, not pre-algebra, the pre-calculus test. That's why I was able to give talk with y'all. And but now I got to grade those tests. Whew. So I was getting ready to sit down and grade tests, and so I got ready to sit down in the chair. My hamstrings was like, "Oh sis, where you going?" So I said, "Let me go on out here for a walk, Let me go for a stroll around the neighborhood. That way I'll feel like I accomplished something with this here body that the Lord gave me. Oh, I was so grateful. When we were after the class was over, we were laying there. She was giving us like our stretch, our cool down activities. And as I was laying there cooling down, I was thanking the Lord for allowing the body that He gave me to do all that stuff that she was asking us to do, because it was a lot of stuff. I said, Lord, thank you that the body I have could do all this stuff. Y'all see my shirt? My shirt say 55. This was my birthday shirt. I'm 55, by the way, in case you didn't know. Y'all already know. Most of y'all already know me. But I was like, well, thank you for letting this 55-year-old body be able to do all these squats and bends and muscle lifts and get up and down off of this step thing and do the mat and do these dips and lifts. And I said, everything she asked us to do, I was able to do it in my own strength. Right? I said, well, Lord, thank you that this body is still able to do it and I'm able to walk out of here on my own. It's not like we did all this stuff. Hey, Lisa, not like we did all this stuff. And I'm like, somebody come wheel me out. Somebody come. So I was like, Lord, I thank you that this body is still able to do what she asking it to do. I'm trying to find some sunlight. Here we go, some light. This body's still able to do what she asking it to do. And I was so grateful to God. So when I got ready to sit down to do that grading papers this morning, I said, well, let me go on out here and do this walk so I can say one more time, thank you, Lord, that the body you gave me is able. Got to find some light. There we go. That the body you gave me is able to do all this. So, okay. Now, what did we cover in our talk? We covered the things we need to do on the weekend as a trader. I keep circling us back to that because I want you to know that number one, you need to take a little downtime on the weekend. Take a little downtime. You want to spend some time with your loved ones, family, friends, do some kind of fun activity, right? Do a little fun activity if you can. I went to a little nice dinner with my husband. I also went to the gym. There's something physical. I wouldn't know if I called that fun per se. It was fun. The lady made it fun. So it was fun. I didn't go because of the fun. I went for the exercise, but she made it fun. But the dinner was nice. And then the stroll in the park with my husband was good. And then watching the movie. Okay, do some little downtime activities. Those are good. Do something fun, something related maybe. Spend some time with family and friends. If you like to eat like me, then go do that. Can't eat as much, but I still enjoy it. So do that. Spend time with family. Make sure you attend worship service, however you do, whatever your religious preference is. Spend some time in service to your God or your own deity. However you do that, just make sure that you do something right in Thanksgiving kind of way. You want to be feeling grateful. Sometime prep doing something that's trading related because you do need to take time on the weekend, getting yourselves ready, whether that way when it comes to trading time, you're trying to figure yourself out when in the moment, not trying to figure it out, but you really are when it comes to time. You're on demand. You good. You just use on demand like your platform after video or two or something like to get you so when I'm not really be ready to do, you ready to do. All right. And then, just kind of chill out. Kind of chill out. Do some exercise, get some sunshine. You gotta get some sunshine. Some sunshine. All right. Y'all never did tell me what y'all did yesterday while the market was closed. Nobody told me what they did. Did y'all work? Some of y'all went to work, I think. Did y'all go to work? Did y'all do anything yesterday while the market was closed? I gave y'all my little schedule of events yesterday while the market was closed. Some of y'all was in the chat with me because we were in our Telegram yesterday. I'll be on tomorrow evening, Sunday evening. I'll do our regular live at 5, and then we'll do our charting call, 6 o'clock for those in the membership. We'll do our charting call. Frank said he had to work yesterday. Lisa said I work. I bet you did work, Lisa. Lisa does hair. So I'm sure Lisa was busy getting them Easter hairdos done. People be getting their hair. I need to Lisa, you live too far for me to come get my locks done. You live too far for that. But I need to find somebody. My thing is I don't be wanting to sit in the chair. I don't be wanting to get under the dryer. All the stuff that go with it. Ward said he had a day off. So what'd you do on your day off? Frank said he worked. Lisa said she worked. Ward had a day off. Julie said she got the vaccine. Oh, I remember. 3 p.m. Good Friday service and just rested. I watched a worship service yesterday. It was on YouTube. But I watched a worship medley yesterday. While I was at the gym, I was walking on the treadmill while I was waiting for my trainer to come. And Lord of mercy, I did not need to be in the gym trying to watch that worship service. Ooh, wee. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Ooh, nothing but the blood. What can wash away my sins? Nothing but the blood. Melissa said she did some charting and some shopping. Charting is good. Charting is good. Shopping is also good. I looked around in TJ Maxx. I bought me some gloves, some like lifting gloves when I'm using my little dumbbells at the gym. I needed some gloves for that. And I bought this muscle rolling ball. So it's like a ball you can hold and you can roll it over your muscles so it can push out the lactic acid. I bought that yesterday too and used it yesterday. I'm going to use it again today because I needed it. Yes. Mm-hmm. Lisa said, I know. Definitely was doing. You probably gonna do some more Easter hair today, ain't you, Lisa? You probably at the shop already. Probably at the shop already this morning with the people who want early hairdos. I saw people out and about, the little girls and everything. You know, I had an idea. It's been a long time ago. I had a business idea to open a beauty shop solely for children, that it would be a hair salon or beauty shop, however we phrase it. And it was only going to be for children, that I would do children's hair, no chemicals. So it would be braids and natural hairstyles. It would only be open after hours. It would have like a whole children's theme. All of the all of the like decorations would be children based. All of the stuff would be for children. And it will be open on the weekends, Saturdays, probably not Sundays so much, maybe Sundays. And we have hours in the summer. Again, no chemicals. I would only do children's hair. I had that idea. Oh, it's been a lot of years ago now. That's one of the thoughts I had, to just do children's hair, because I felt like um, children aren't really welcomed at adult beauty shops. They're kind of tolerated at adult beauty shops. Like they'll people will take them because children need their hair done, but there's no shops per se um, that really like cater to children. So if there was okay, no problem. I just want to make sure y'all weren't gonna pull forward. So if there was no, there's no, so if there was a shop that was fully for children, then they wouldn't be tolerated there. It would be just for them. Lisa said that's a good idea, Coach. You still considering it? I don't know. I mean, even though I was thinking about it, I was thinking, because I have a braider's license. I actually can do hair and have done hair for a lot of years. I've been a hairstylist for a long time. I never did get the license to do chemicals and cuts. I only did natural hair. So I would do dreadlocks and braids. I did that for a long time. That was my sideline business, my little side hustle, as they call it, for a long time. I did it for a lot of years. And I left the country, and when I left the country, I kind of stopped doing hair. But I did hair for shoot 20 years. Anyway, I don't know. I hadn't thought about swinging back around to that idea. I think it's a decent idea though. I do think it's a decent idea. I am getting closer, starting to get closer to home. I hope the stream continues to hold because as I get closer to home, it'll try to catch my own Wi-Fi. Yeah, Lisa, you didn't know that? Yeah, I did hair, I did braids and locks. I know how to. I've done. Oh my goodness, for forever. I did hair on the side, lots and lots of hair on the sideline. My sideline gig before I left the country. So I stopped maybe in 2015. I stopped. Actually, I really didn't stop because when I went to China, I didn't do much hair. But when I went to Guatemala, I did a lot of hair in Guatemala because there were a lot more people who looked like me who were in Guatemala who were looking for hair services. And there was harder to find people to do your hair. So in Guatemala, I didn't do any in Bahrain, I don't think, not much. Oh, I did some in Bahrain too. Take that back. I did do hair in Bahrain because a girl who was with me in Guatemala also moved to Bahrain and I did her hair while we lived in Bahrain even. So yeah, I did hair probably all the way up till I started trading. But yep, it's not a bad idea. But I never did I never did swing back around to it. Uh, I'm at a different stage now. I might. That's still not a bad. But I thought if I ever had the idea, I would probably start and then run the shop. I wouldn't necessarily. I could be like one of the stylists, but I would like rent out the chairs. It would be good for braiders, like if people who didn't have the full license, but just had the, in Florida you can have a braider's license and you don't have to have all those hours of the chemicals and the cutting. You can just have a braider's license and be able to work in a natural hair shop. I thought about it. Yep, definitely thought about it. We'll see. I got a couple business ideas. I also thought about the little icy truck. The little what's it called, shaved ice, the little shaved ice business, a little shaved icy trailer thing that you can just pop up on the corner and sell shaved ice. That way if you don't feel like it, you don't pull it out. Nothing that's too intense. You basically buy some ice and buy some flavors and some cups and spoons. And then when you go to the park and sell shaved ice, if you feel like it, you do. If you don't feel like it, you don't. And it's not like a whole lot of overhead. It don't take any whole lot of skill to shave some ice and put some juice on it. So you can hire pretty inexpensively, and it could be something that me and my husband could do. We could decide we want to travel to Myrtle Beach, and we can open up our little window and sell shaved ice on the side of the road if we decided, and we could enjoy Myrtle Beach, and we could also sell shaved ice just in our retirement ages or whatever. That's another little idea I've had, just a little easy passive idea to do in your spare time, gives you an opportunity to still travel and see stuff and sell your little shaved ice thing. Y'all know, you ever been to my son? When my son was playing football, there was a guy who would come out there every day and sell shaved ice. And every day, y'all might have heard me tell this story. And every day, we would be out there with my son, and the guy sold them. The small one was $1, the medium was $2, and the big one was $3. And every day, my son had to have one. My daughter had to have one. Of course, I'm sitting there, so I had one. So every day I spent $3, and we were out there 3 or 4 days a week, and then he would come on the weekend. So let's say 4 to 5 days a week, I would spend $3 to $5. And at the time, it don't feel like it's a lot. Each time when you look at every single day, you do something for 5 days, $3 for 5 days. I don't spend $15 a week with this guy for something he paid 30 cents for. So it's just like a cash cow. And when you walk over there, he didn't have no tap and no debit cards at the time. You just bought cash. Now he might have all that stuff now because this was back when in the early 2000s or late 90s. My son was young, but I mean, a little cash business, ice and juice. That's all that was. Ice and flavored juice. Literally, ice and sugar water is all that was. And he sold it for $1. He probably paid probably paid 25 cents for the whole set, the cup, the spoon, the ice, and the juice. He probably spent 25 cents and charged us $1. And then now you go to a shaved ice place. Anybody ever been to Jeremiah's? If you live in Florida, you probably heard of Jeremiah's. Jeremiah's, the little small mini cup, which is about this big, it's $4. And it's just this big, literally, and it's a $4. And they literally have spent less than $1 for what you get in that cup. It's a four times markup. They got a little. I'm gonna wrap because it's gonna get getting closer and closer to home. Alrighty, everybody. So evening at 5, okay, and evening at 6. All right? Great hanging out with you this weekend. You get some sunshine. You do some work, you do some studying. You get some family time. All right. I'll see y'all later. There. Bye. Bye. Bye.